In this video, you'll be learning about this topic. So, Andy, let's transition into your financial manager. You have lots of experience doing this, and I'm kind of curious, when somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I'm interested in buying Bitcoin, you obviously have a response to them, but I'm kind of curious how some other peers or people that, or stories that you've heard from other financial managers, what you're hearing them tell their clients as they say, hey, I want a 1% position or a 5% position in Bitcoin. What are most people hearing back from financial planners and managers?
It's a great question, Preston. I think the major problem that a lot of wealth managers face, or that they articulate, or that they're worried about, is I don't have a product that I think is safe enough, compliant enough. Basically, I'm worried about getting sued by my client if I lose money in Bitcoin. My personal view on that, and I think I'm the exception, is that given what I know about Bitcoin, what the valuation potential is, i.e. the upside potential, as well as potentially the value of the hedge against inflation, given how important it is to a client's portfolio, it's hard for me to see how I wouldn't buy it for them, even with an imperfect product. In other words, it's a business. There's a classic concept in law. It's usually invoked in law, which is like there's legal questions and there's business questions, right? And to me, this is like kind of a business question. It's like, yeah, maybe there isn't a perfect product out there, although there are several products that have come to market and that are growing. Basically there's a whole world of options that are now available that weren't there a few years ago. So there's more, but I would say that's the main thing that people come to me with, the advisors come to me with. They say, look, I can't get it past my compliance department, or I don't have the perfect product, so I'm not willing to take the risk.
And so they just push them to an exchange like Kraken and say, hey, do it yourself? Yeah,
they prefer not to admit that to me, I guess, but I think that's got to be practically what happens is they probably end up at Coinbase, is my best guess in many cases.
Wow. I never even really thought of that challenge for a lot of them from a compliance standpoint. But now that you say, it makes some sense. So tell us how you think about that from a compliance standpoint.
I guess the holy grail, as we know, the holy grail in terms of an investable product for wealth managers, for financial advisors, obviously is an ETF. And that doesn't exist yet. So next best is an SEC qualified custody product, which also does not exist. So short of that, there are various fund structures out there. They all have their own pros and cons and various amounts of hair on them. There's several sort of direct buy options. There's DIM has one. The NYDIG guys have one. Eagleburk has one. There's several out there. And those come with their own hair as well. Then, of course, there have been hedge fund structures around for a long time, limited partnerships. So we all know there's Grayscale. And that's a trust, and it trades at a premium. And, it's not sort of a normal way financial filer. And so none of these things are perfect. As you know, I'm working with Swan, which is a private client product. None of these things are perfect. But I think as an advisor, you say to yourself, well, I want the sort of clearly SEC qualified silver bullet solution. And we just don't have that yet. And I don't think we'll have that. To me, that happens at 100K Bitcoin, right? So you probably miss a triple, from here if you wait for that.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next podcast episode and new investing resources.
What are your takeaways and thoughts on this discussion? Let us know in the comments section below.